Strawberry Hill today? Yes. Well, now that doesn't sound like you had a lot of fun. Did everyone have fun here at Strawberry Hill? Okay. Well, here on the farm, I know Miss Brandy was telling you some about the honeybees when you were out with her. How many bees would you think would live in one of these boxes? Between 30 and 60,000. Now remember, we have 100 here on the farm, but there's another 100 around us because bees will fly to 3 miles of each. So all of the bees around for 3 miles come here to Strawberry Hill and eat. We need to put our listening ears on, okay?
Let's count to 3 and then let's put our listening ears on. I promise. If y'all will listen for just a short time, then we'll have ice cream at lunch. 1, 2, 3. Listen. Okay.
All right. Now, we didn't want to bring the honeybees out, so they're out working and eating, and we didn't want any of those studs, so they posed for some pictures so you could see what they look like without worrying about getting stung. This is one of my honeybees. She is a true insect. She has 6 legs. She has 2 wings. She has how many eyes? 5. Yeah, my honeybees have 5 eyes. They have 2 large complex eyes that are made up of hundreds of lenses. And then see these little dots right here on the top? These little black dots right here? That's eyes too. There's 3 of those that make eyes. And the other thing that honeybees have are antennae. Honeybees use their antennae to communicate with. There's other bees. They use them like our fingers to feel with, like our nose to smell with. And you know they use them to hear sound? They use them by hearing vibrations. So if I go into the honeybee hive and go, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to send out the guard bees to protect it, much like we don't call 911 if somebody calls our house. Yeah. So, inside the bees, there is one queen bee. See how much longer her stomach is than the others? Her abdomen's longer? There's boy bees called drones, and all of the rest are girl bees. So if you get stung, it's by a girl bee because boy bees don't have stingers.
I get stung by a girl bee.
All the work in the hive though. Yeah, the girl bees, they take care of the queen. Don't make me send my bees up to tell them you don't want ice cream. So there's the girl bees, they take care of the queen, they take care of the babies, they do build the cells, they put up the honey, they do all kinds of stuff. Then we have the bees, they go and get pollen. See this little bee covered in pollen?
Yeah, that's like the strawberry watermelon. That's the sunflower.
And they have 2 little baskets on the back of their legs that they have pollen in. But these are really hard workers, but they're smart. So this bee rolls in. So he gets taking care of lots of much better. And then they get nectar, which they use to make honey. They use this little tube here, and they get the nectar out of the flower. And when they do that, then they take it back in the bee has 2 stomachs. So they put the nectar in the honey stomach and mix it with the enzyme, and that makes honey. Well, did Miss Brandy tell you about the bee dance? Yeah. We did the bee dance. Now remember, there's 2 dances though. There's the food right outside the door. A bee goes out and comes back and he says, oh, and just does the circle dance. So that means basically if you look out the front door and look around like a circle, there's food. But now, when Miss Brandy was doing the waggle dance, you were telling bees that food was far off so they could go straight there and get it. Well, these are baby bees. They don't look like bees, do they?
Y'all see that? They look like kind of birds.
Well, the queen bee will lay a little egg, which we really is too small for us
The one
to
that
see
says
here.
Joe,
Then that becomes a pupa. The pupa becomes a larva, and then that becomes a bee. So there's 4 stages: eggs, pupa, larva, and adult. Now this is a new bee just coming out. If it was just coming out, you would be the first thing it saw. This one right here is just eating its way out of the shell. And this one is hit when he's a little bit older, just a couple minutes older, and he can't hardly lay out. See how fuzzy he is? You don't think a honeybee is being Such a dude. And this is him a couple minutes later. This is actually a boy being drunk. He's a little bit bigger than the girl is. This is how Mother Nature makes new beehives. Remember, I said there could be 60,000 people in that box? You know how it is when people get too close, you start shoving and pushing and get hot and stuffy, and everybody just gets in a mean mood? Well, that's sort of what happens in the box. So the workers say, it's time for some of you to go somewhere else. So they'll make a new queen, and the old queen and the older bees will fly out to find a new house. Well, when they're ready to go, the queen says, okay, we're ready. So all of the bees that are going with the queen go in and they eat all the honey they can hold. They eat, and they can barely fly. Then they fly out to get a new house. Well, these bees have gotten tired, so they stop to rest. Well, when they do that, they send scout bees out to look for the best house. We'll say one went this way, one went that way, and one went up to Strawberry Hill to the restaurant. Well, it's great for us, but not for bees. So the bee came back to the restaurant, and he goes, there's people food here, but there's not a lot for us bees. Well, the two that went that way and that way, they come back and they go, we found really neat places with lots of strawberries and peaches and plums and Asian pears and blackberries. So the way they decide where to go is the bee will say, come on, just come look with me. Just come look. And so they'll have a few bees fly out, and then they come back and they're like, he's right, he's got a really good place. And the bee that can get the most people to fly away with him, that's how they choose their new house. So now, when they do it, Mother Nature does it, this is the way a honeycomb looks. See, it looks a lot like a teardrop, and all of these are stuck together. Well, as a beekeeper, I really couldn't be able to work my honey or work my bees with that. So, while it's great for Mother Nature, it's not great for us beekeepers. So we came up with a box that we can actually pull out pieces and look at it. And this is how we can check and see how our queens are doing, how our honey's doing, and everything. So what we do is we have this box, and this one doesn't have bees in it, so nobody needs to panic. We have a lid, just like everybody. We want a roof to keep dry. Did you know honeybees have a screen door or a screen window? Yeah, this is so air can get in, but this helps keep anything else from getting in. Because remember, the guard bees are down here. Now, what if I was a bee and I just got lazy and I thought, well, I'm going to go to their house and eat. You think they'd let me in? No. The guard bees, the queen releases a pheromone. And the way we can think of a pheromone is perfume. So the queen releases this perfume and everybody in the hive smells like her perfume. So me being the lazy bee that I am, I try to sneak in there. They use their antenna, remember the smell. They smell me when I start coming in and they're like, oh, no, no, no. You don't eat here. You go on back to your house. We've worked hard for our honey. You go back to your own house to eat honey. So they won't let me in. And this is what the honeycomb looks like before the bees start up. Bees work very hard but very smart. There's one size cell that they like. So scientists have shown us farmers what it is, and we make our wax start with that size. Well, the bees will say, they'll come here and they'll get on this and they're like, oh boy, somebody's done some of the work for us. So they'll pull it out nice and straight like you saw in the picture. But if Mother Nature did it, without our help of having that straight, even inside the box, you'd get some stuff that look like this. Some bees wanted to build this way, and some this way, and some this way. Well, that wouldn't be any easier to work. So that's why we start out with a pattern. You want to see what honeycomb looks like? Well, some people, if you pass this around, I'll give a couple pieces to start different places and pass it around.
There's something in there. Nothing's in there, baby. But it is just dirt. It's okay. I did the same thing there. I've never seen this out of the hive.